Break out of the chaos.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bugg Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Getting a letter from the IRS that you owe back taxes can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. Call Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040 today. We'll help stop garnishments, levies, and seizures immediately. With over 35 years of dealing directly with the IRS, our team of local professionals will help you pay the least amount possible. So if you owe back taxes to the IRS, you need help. Call the tax professionals at Go Tax Resolution in Lafayette at 337-420-1040. Your go-to tax relief.
Hello and welcome to Week 10 of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach, Roger Cador. How are you today, my friend?
Life is good.
Yes, sir. That it is. In recent weeks, for those of you that have been keeping pace with us since the show started this year, you know that we've had the opportunity. We have been so blessed and fortunate to be with some legendary individuals in sports and particularly in the game of baseball. And the hits, as we say in the radio business, just keep on coming. We've got another legendary, well-known individual that joins us to start today's show. And Coach, as is normally the case, we let you do the honors for the introduction.
Well, I have a personal friend on the phone that we've been knowing each other for over 50 years. And I tell you, that's a fortunate thing. And we call him Johnny B, Dusty Baker, who has managed a whole bunch of teams and have been in the game 54 years. So, Dusty, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fine, man. It's always a pleasure, Roger, to talk to you. And, we go way back. I didn't know it was 54 years, but like I tell people, man, we go way back when we were just, both young and strong and skinny and fast.
That's right. That's the truth. That was the thing. You had to be fast to play with the Brave. And
right.
With the brothers, all of us were fast. But
That's right. You had to be able to run.
But you've had the distinction honor of being on deck when the hammer hit 5 on 7-15. And but you also have managed three legendary players. You did Barry Bonds, you did Sammy Sosa, and you're another up-and-coming superstar, Bryce Harper. Tell me what that feeling was like to manage those three players.
Well, and I also had Ken Griffey Jr.
That's right.
In Cincinnati, and something. All those players have a common denominator of tremendous concentration, vision, and desire to succeed, and all very confident, on the inside, and you couldn't really tell when a guy was hot or when a guy was cold because they had that very internal confidence, and the game was slow to all of them. Roger, it was like the whole game was in slow motion to them while they were in fast motion, and that's what I try to tell the kids. If you can slow the game down, then you can see things that other people can't see.
Well, I tell you, they really slowed it down. So in your lifetime, you probably saw more than 3,000 home runs being hit.
Yes, I did.
With the hammer, with them, and the four players we talked about. But the other thing, Dusty, is that you being from out in California, you got drafted in '67 by the Braves. You also were not just a baseball player, you were a pretty good track player, right? Runner, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, you had to have speed, or else they probably didn't sign you. You had to have speed or either be real strong and hit home runs, and that wasn't me. But see, what I took pride in was trying to be good. If I could practice a sport or practice for any period of time and figure it out, then I thought I could be good at it. And I really love basketball probably the most, then football, and then track and baseball. But see, back then, we played everything, and that's the one thing that I disagree with now in modern times is when the coaches make these kids decide at a young age, to play one sport or not. A lot of times your body, your skill level determines, what you're going to play. And we were in Riverside, where I came from before Sacramento, we were all trying to be Bobby Bonds. And Bobby Bonds was the greatest prep school athlete. I mean, he went to the state track meet. He was All-American in football, American in basketball, and in baseball, he was a guy since he was a kid that, that kid that throws a no-hitter and hits 2 home runs. Well, that was Bobby Bonds.
Yeah.
And so we're all trying to be like Bobby Bonds.
Well, the thing about you, also, I remember when you mentioned about kids, they're making kids concentrate on one sport. I remember you talking to a group of kids and coaches and telling them that's not a good thing because, especially for the black athlete, they're usually going to develop later into the athlete they are. Some of them may be fast and things, but when it comes to body strength, they usually develop strength later.
Right. Well, that was me, Roger. You know what I mean? Because you saw me.
Yes.
We saw each other.
Yeah.
And we were highly skilled, but the one thing that we lacked was strength. We could run, throw, field, and think on your feet, but the only thing is we lacked was strength. And I remember when I was with the Braves, Hank and Rico, and I remember Mike Lum telling me, wait until you develop your man strength. And I didn't know what he was talking about. And I found out later, and that's where my son is right now, because my son is highly skilled, who I'm going to go see right now at University of California, Berkeley. But, the only thing he was lacking was strength. And a lot of the scouts, they want a man-child right away that's going to, be at 16 and have tremendous strength. But that usually doesn't happen, to our guys, our boys, like you said, a lot of times we get it later. But see, I would rather have a kid that is skilled and learn how to play, know how to play before he gets his man strength. Because most of those kids that are men-child, that's all they depend on. They depend on being bigger and stronger, and a lot of them never learn the game. And so, like I tell these kids, just keep playing, keep learning, and then everything will come into place. Because I think a lot of our kids quit before they, really reach their potential.
Oh, I'll agree with you on that. One of the things that have been one of your hallmark as a manager is that everybody give you the compliment of being able to communicate with your players. I'm going to tell you one thing I remember. You were managing the Cubs. I came to visit you in Houston. We had gone to lunch, and you brought gumbo back for a couple of your players. No manager does that. You see, and that's the kind of way you communicate with people. You let them know, I'm just one of you all. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, you let them know that you care about them. You know what I mean? And my mom and daddy always tell me, if you go over somebody's house and they give you a drink of water or whatever it is and don't offer you no food, they really don't pay. You know what I mean? But if they take you inside and they offer you some food, and that's a sign of endearment. And see, Tom Lasorda used to bring in food for us all the time. All the time. And that's the gathering spot where guys come in and talk, or where they find their common ground as players. And tell you the truth, I got my eye test with me now. I'm going to go see my son, and his favorite food is gumbo, and I got some gumbo for him. It's not quite like gumbo down there where you are in Louisiana, but it's pretty good. You know what I mean? So I'm taking them gumbo right now.
I remember your wife, when I saw y'all last year at LSU, your wife told me how much he loved gumbo. You eat it all the time.
Oh, yeah, he can eat, I swear, he can eat gumbo every day. So I'm not kidding you when I'm telling you I'm taking him some gumbo.
Yeah, I could eat gumbo every day, and sometimes I do it for stretches. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
So, Dusty, this is your 54th year being affiliated in baseball in some form or fashion. What's been the key to your longevity, Dusty?
I would think, perseverance, I think, and knowing when to pick your battles as much as anything, because, there are times when you're not going to get along. There's times you're not going to like what somebody tells you, or they don't like what you tell them. Mm-hmm. So I think you got to pick your battles. I think you have to stay ahead of the game. It's helped me a lot having younger children and know how to deal with the younger, not only generation of athletes, but the younger generation of front office people. Mm-hmm. I got a daughter, she's 40, and then my son, 21. So, they keep me on, language, clothing. I don't want to dress like I'm 15 years old, but I don't. Right. My daughter said, "Dad, those pants are too tight. Or they're too loose." You know what I mean? And, or my son will tell me, he'll make up some CDs for me. Not CDs. He'll make up these, tapes for me that I play in my office. And guys are like, "Dang, dude, man, you know that song?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then right away, we have something to talk about. So right. I think it helps to have, kids that are, of different generations. Mm-hmm. And also to try to understand the young people and try not to be one of these guys that like, oh yeah, back in our day, which we say all the time, right. Or to come down on the youth the way they come down on us. We made it pretty good so far, and they were telling us that we didn't have a chance back then. And right. So I think more than anything that, we learned a lot from the protests and the George Floyd situation, different things, that these young people, have a voice and they need to be, listened to.
It's funny you mentioned the word perseverance. Roger always talks about baseball being the only game that's predicated on failure. How did you manage to stay so positive, succeed, and persevere in a game where you fail a heck of a lot more than you succeed?
Well, number one, I don't think about failure. I think about success. And every time you do fail, you're one step closer to success. Wow. And when I think about somebody that persevered, I think about Thomas Edison, who failed 1,000 times before he, figured out how to keep the light alive.
Right.
But on the personal side, church a lot when I was a kid. Most of us don't because we want to go. But
you're going to that dead spot.
Has been, because of faith in the Lord, and that's what keeps you going, and that's what keeps me going. And every time I get a little down about something, I got these 5 or 6 books, that I read every morning. I read Proverbs every morning. I read the Minute Bible. I read, like 3 other little books that I read in the morning that help start my day. And, when you don't want to get out of bed sometime, or you're like, nah, I feel tired, though, you got to have something to motivate you. And they talk about perseverance all the time. So, like I said, my real strength comes from, my faith. Even though I may not live the way I'm supposed to be living all the time, right. I know how I'm supposed to be living.
Yeah. If you had not been drafted and played baseball, what do you think you would have ended up being or doing in life, Dusty?
Well, I would like to think that I would have been in the NBA, so which was my dream. Mm-hmm. Now, whether I'd have made it or not, I don't know. But I think whatever it was, my mom wanted me to be a a lawyer or a doctor. You know, mothers, you know, they want you to go to school forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
and that would be great if I didn't have to go to school forever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, I like to think that, you know, I like business. You know, my dad was a guy that hardworking guy. My mom ended up teaching school you know, she taught black studies at the college in our town. Mm-hmm. And then my dad was a common sense high school guy that worked 2 jobs for 36 years. But, you know, like he could, boy, I mean, this guy could take $1 as far from here to San Francisco. And, you know, like we had some income properties, which my dad worked hard at, which I helped him. And so, you know, I would like to think that I would have, which I still am in business. I always was curious about business.
You last played the game in 1986, 35 years ago. How's the game changed since then, Dusty?
Well, I think it's changed where you know, other people are telling the manager, you know, kind of what to do. Or like the manager's word doesn't mean as much. There's a lot more numbers, people running the game. The game has changed to where what was important for us to win the game. I think the game has lent itself to, you know, more selfishness for stats in order to get paid. I mean, we're always about getting paid, but we're about winning. And you know, when you look at the game now, when I talk to some guys, they tell me, "Hey, man, OPS is more important than RBIs," or you know, I mean, these guys have bought into what you know, what it takes to get paid. And you know, our thing is, hey, man, if we win, then we all get paid.
Right.
That's right.
And so, you know, that's one way that it, you know, that has changed. But you know, the sabermetrics guys have a lot more to say about the outcome of games or what you do during the game. And but you know, the time I look forward to is after the national anthem is sung, where to me the game is the same because the game's in my hands. And if it works, then nobody asks me anything. But if it doesn't work, then you got to answer to somebody why you didn't do this or why you didn't do that.
Yeah, that's true. You see, a lot of people don't know. They think you talk only to baseball people, but you talk to a lot. In the days when this coach was alive, Bill Walsh, you did a lot of talking with him. Can you share with us about some of the things you all talked about?
Yeah, well, you know, the guys that helped me probably the most in my life were like, in my coaching career, were probably Jim Gilliam, Al Addles, and Bill Walsh helped me a lot. And what Bill used to tell me was about, you know, having balance in your life as much as anything. And you know, he said that you got to have some outside interests outside of baseball or football or whatever it is, and you have to recreate yourself, you know, every few years. And you know, he believed that, you know, you should change teams about every 10 years as a manager, which is why I left the Giants, because I was 10 years as a manager and 5 years as a coach. Because he said that after a period of time, there are things about you that they don't like, and there are things about them that you don't care for. And also the players, unless you have a high turnaround and players, which is a pro and con, Roger, in college sports, where you know, you can give the primary same message over and over and over. But baseball, the longer in professional, the longer you have a team, you know, they'll shut you out if you give the same speech. You know, every you know, too often. So you know, Bill, you know, really helped me out a lot as far as you know, things that you say to rookies, things how you treat the wives, you know, how you treat the girlfriends, how you treat the mothers. You know, he was real big on, you know, a happy wife or a happy girlfriend or a happy mother is a happy life, you know, for the athlete. And
I mean, that is amazing that people don't think about that. Women are so important, you see, because if that husband or the wife or the girlfriend ain't happy, normally the player and the manager ain't happy.
That's true, and I'm telling you, I've seen it both ways. You know what I mean? It's like, man, what's wrong with you today? You'll ask him, what's wrong with you? Oh man, my wife got on me, man. She told me I need to go to work and and do something for a change. I'm like, really?
Yeah. Well.
And also I've seen, some wives like were so, their husband's corner that they were, like their pitching coach or batting coach, and I can see that also because, when the women, when the wives come to a game, they pay most attention when their husband's on the mound or when their husband's at bat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, you can't pull a word out of them, but, let somebody else's husband be at bat or whatever it is, unless they really, really love the game, they're going to watch their husbands. And I remember Manny Mota told me one time, he says, man, you got to, listen to your wife. And I was like, Manny, she don't know nothing about baseball. He said, listen to your wife. So my wife told me, Roger, she goes, I was in a slump. So she goes, I know what's wrong with you. I said, oh, here we go, you too. You know what I mean? So I thought about what Manny told me. Manny told me, and she told me that my thumb, on my top hand, wasn't up on the bat. It was down choking the bat. And so I tried it VP, and then that night I think I got 4 hits or something. But after the game, my wife goes, well.
But isn't that beautiful? It's the least knows the most.
That's right. She goes, well, you didn't tell him on the post-game show that your batting coach straightened you out? I said, no, I couldn't do it.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Because I'm telling you.
Yeah, but she did straighten me out.
Yes. Oh, that is so beautiful. Dusty, we could talk all day. I know you got to go. But we really appreciate you coming on and sharing some of these special moments with us. And we're looking forward to hopefully everything with this virus will let y'all go to spring training and play the season.
That's right. Well, I'm hoping the same thing. And so, we need the prayers of everybody out there. I just got my second shot, COVID shot Friday. So I'm hoping that, most of us, especially African Americans, go ahead and get the COVID shot because it's affecting us, big time. And I saw the reason why I got mine. I never even got a flu shot, Roger.
Really?
This year.
Wow.
No, never. I ain't had a flu in 20 years. And so then I got the COVID shot after I saw the doctor on CNN saying that he recommends that we get it. Because they had quite a few black doctors on the board of testing, and he guaranteed that this is not another Tuskegee Institute experiment.
Right.
Which is what convinced me to go down and get mine. So I'm just hoping that we as a nation and especially as a race, try to fight this thing the best we can.
I'll get my second one Friday or next week, so I'm in with you.
Go ahead, Roger.
All right, Dusty, you're the best. Thank you, my man.
See y'all later.
All right, Rusty, take care, Dusty. All right, first break of today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. When we come back, I'm going to talk cereal. That's right, cereal. You heard me right. They're all scratching their heads. Cereal?
Cereal? Oh,
cereal.
My goodness.
Yeah, the kind you eat out of a bowl.
Okay.
I don't want to give it away. You got to come back to find out what it's all about. That's up next on today's edition of the Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock, conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Surprise, something good has finally happened in 2020. Yours truly, the Clarence Buggs Show, gets to be with you every day of the week. That's right, 11 to 12 every weekday. And of course, the Exiles right in front of yours truly from 10 to 11, yours truly 11 to 12. So now it's appointment viewing. 5 days a week here on the Pelican. The Clarence Buggs Show. The only thing missing is you.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to week 10 of the Roger Cador Show. Clarence Buggs along with the coach, Roger Cador. If you were with us as we headed into the last commercial break, you can stop scratching your head. I told you when we came back after commercial that we'd be talking cereal. And the natural inclination is, I don't know, cornflakes, Special K. But if you are really a connoisseur from childhood of cereal, there's nothing like a good old bowl of Coco Crisp. Coach, if you would, introduce our next guest.
Our next guest is none other than Coco Crisp. Better is Cavelli, but nobody knows him as Cavelli.
Right.
He's only known as Coco Crisp. Coco, how are you?
I'm doing good, Coach Cador. How you doing?
Doing good. I had the pleasure of getting to know you as a 17-year-old. I'll never forget. We were playing in Santa Clara, and your parents brought you up there to meet. So what's that? 97, right? 1997,
that was back in 1997.
And boy, I tell you, you have one hell of a mother. Your dad is great, but Pamela Chris is the greatest. Okay, you have your mother is the greatest because I tell you, because she never gave up on you. I want you to tell us a couple of stories to know how mothers are. Most mothers found fault in their kid. She saw only the good in you, no matter, you know what I'm saying? And those kind of things kept you going because you knew mom would always be there for you. So talk a little about Pamela for us.
Yeah, I was very blessed to have a great supporting cast around me, and the people who led that supporting cast is my mother, father, and sister coming up, as a young man and trying to develop into a responsible young man. We've had a lot of learning curves, like most children do as a young kid. But I guess when we end up coming out and meeting for the first time, my story kind of starts where I was trying to get in different colleges to play baseball, and I was having a hard time. And you gave me that opportunity to come to the university and follow my dream, which I'll always appreciate. But up until that point, it was difficult for me. Nobody was taking that chance on a 5'8" out of position player that weighed 150 pounds. and a little young to come out of high school. And you gave me the opportunity. And throughout the whole process of coming from Los Angeles to Louisiana, my parents, they supported me. They threw me parties, because I was the first kid in the family to go to college. But she really dialed it in, because I went to 4 different high schools, and in order for it to really happen where I was able to go down there, they had to do a lot of the paperwork with the transcripts got messed up. So when I came out to Southern University, things didn't actually go that smoothly from the start. The transcripts from 4 different high schools, that took a little time to come through. So I ended up having to redshirt the first year. Probably would have regardless, but without the transcripts, definitely had to do that. And then from there, it was just kind of like a waiting game, and their babies out at college away from them, and she would call and they would send me money like most parents do, $100 here and there to try to survive. But yeah, they just supported me the whole time, and when you want me to tell you a little bit more about my experience,
Yeah.
in college, but no, they're great. Still to this day, they still support me, support my children, my wife, my family, everything that we do. My parents, they're always there.
Well, and that's important, because you not only didn't forget where you came from when you were playing with Cleveland, you made special effort to go in the inner city and talk to kids and talk to them about things that matter, not being just a baseball player, but you talk to them about what? Things in life. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, one thing that helped me, first off, I was fortunate to be around some people through my childhood, I guess my teenage years, that my dad was able to get me involved with through baseball, and they're able to be open and honest with me and share their stories about how things went for them. And I always thought that was very helpful. I remember playing in RBI, and going to the RBI Olympics, and they had Kenny Lofton, who came out and spoke to us. And I was about 15 years old, and he was a rookie really early in his career, and he spoke to us about himself. And people like that you look up to in the game from afar, and then you're able to see them up close, it holds weight a little bit. And some of the people that I worked out with as a young man, they told me their story. So I always wanted to kind of give back with similar stories, just be truthful and honest. And sometimes it could be a little difficult to do that, so I understand why people don't. But for me, my story is different. Most people's are, but mine's pretty different than most. It's an untraditional story where I end up, and I told you about the transcripts, so that was a little difficult of a time. And then going out to Southern University, which is far away from home, I had a little bit of freedom at a young age. So I wasn't mature enough to really handle that experience. So for me, it was like baseball. I wanted to play baseball. And once, I was going redshirt. I just didn't take it as serious as possible, as I should have, with school out there. So I got into a lot of, to be honest, I just didn't go to class. Just straight point blank, right?
Right.
I just wasn't responsible. I was taking in everything that college had to offer, but without being responsible. Now, fortunate enough for me, you and the administration and everybody, they were able to give me a second chance. I was able to go back to summer school, but through that process, I went and played in a wood bat league. And for me, it would have been a little bit of a tougher time if this wouldn't have happened for me. I ended up having like 4 or 5 amazing games in a wood bat league, and a scout was out. Daryl Miller was out scouting another player, and I had these amazing games, and I caught his eye. And then from there, I was able to transfer. I'm grateful to you because everybody has to sign off on transfers and everything like that. But I was able to transfer to a junior college, and from there I gained a little bit of steam as far as my name, because I was enrolled at Southern University and I got signed. I didn't know all the ins and outs of all the rules of college baseball and everything like that. To be honest, as a kid, and my family were like the first generation to go to college and go through this process. So for me, I always thought if I got signed, I was going straight to the big leagues. Right? I didn't know I didn't know about the whole minor league ladder that you have to work through, be on the big stage of TV, seeing Ozzie Smith do backflips. I'm thinking, if I get signed, I'm going right there, right?
Yeah,
but,
yeah. Well,
so then it was a different kind of a thing, but fortunately for me, what I wish would have happened was, and how I instill into my kids now, because I'm learning from my mistakes. I don't want them to go through the same process. Is schools first. Schools first and foremost. That's plan A. That has to be right, which allows you to go out there and do your extracurricular activities and hopefully make that into a plan A. But it has to be plan B to start. And for me, I'm very fortunate that my kids are buying into that much better than I did.
Well, good. You started your career as all your life was an infielder, and then when you got into pro ball, in particular the big league, they put you out in the outfield. What was that transition like?
Yeah, it was tough mentally, but I pride myself on a couple things throughout my career. I always wanted to hustle. Number one, I didn't want to be a person who was out there looking like he was showboating, lollygagging to a point where it looked like I wasn't hustling. I still wanted to have fun and all that, but hustle, to work hard, and be coachable, be like a fan-friendly type of thing. So those are the things that I wanted to pride myself on, things that I can control. So coming up through the minor leagues, as I'm learning myself and learning the things that I wanted to be as a ball player, they came to me saying that, they feel like I have a better chance of making it as an outfielder. Now, I was like, in my mind, I'm like, how do you figure that when you've never seen me play outfield?
Yeah.
I'm that sorry as an infielder where you're just going to assume, or like, I'm just joking, but it's like you've never really seen me play outfield other than kind of like shagging. And maybe I caught their eye that way. I don't know. But so they came to me with this, and, in my mind, as a young man, I'm like, gosh, I really want to play infield. I didn't say that. I was just, my favorite word is okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
For me, that the people above you are telling you something, and you can, if you completely don't agree, then it might be different. But I listen, and then I say, okay. And then if I need to say my spiel, I'll give my little conversation that's needed. But for the most part, I just kind of roll with the punches. That way, you're the professional. You think I'd go play some outfield? I'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. So I didn't give them any talk back or anything like that. I was just basically like, all right, let's give it a shot. And then I went out there, and it was a learning curve. They hit me backhands, and I'm doing jump throws as if I'm in the infield. So it was a process. It was a learning process. I'm turning double plays out there. But I did once with Manny Ramirez, though. He cut me off like he did Johnny Damon at one time.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's just about being coachable and trying things out. I always try things out. And you see, if you told me something, I'll try it out. If I didn't like it, I'll get rid of it and go back to what I like. But I tried it out, and sometimes it will work. And that's how you build yourself as a ball player, by trying everything. That way, you give yourself a chance to find something new that can make you great.
Great.
Coco, I was going to ask you a two-part question, but you answered the first part already. I was going to ask, what was your most outstanding attribute as a player? But you just mentioned hustling being fan-friendly, being coachable. Other part of the question, however, was going to be, what do you view as your best attribute as an individual?
I don't know how to put this into words, but I'm a good loser as far as not being a sore loser, right?
Right.
It took me a while to become that, though. But one of I think my best attribute between the lines as a competitor is that anything I do, I want to win. So that drives me to be the best I could possibly be at anything. Like if we're playing ping pong, if I lose, I'm gonna go practice to be you know. So it's darts, same thing. Like throughout my course of my lifetime within competitive games, activities, I've just really had the hunger for winning. Right. So between the lines, that right there, I just whatever between the lines means, like ping pong, like I said, any kind of game we play Monopoly. But I just that's right. But at the same time, if you win, I've learned how to be a good loser as well. Like congratulations, because if you beat me, you deserve it. That's how I feel.
Right.
But to work hard too. But that between the lines, outside the lines, my best attribute is, it's as much easier to talk about between the lines. It's hard to talk about yourself in a normal capacity. I guess that I try to be normal. Like you see some so-called celebrities. I'm probably like a D-lister, but you see celebrities that become celebrity status, and it kind of takes over to a certain extent, instead of just being down to earth and normal. Like I'm my mom and dad's son. I'm still Covelli, even though the world knows me as Coco for the most part. Right. Just try to be normal, right?
It's our understanding that your brother and sister came up with the name Coco because they thought you resembled the character on the Coco Crisp cereal box. How long did it take you to embrace that when they came up with it?
Yeah, it's like it's like somebody calling you ugly when you're young. It's not something you embrace. You just kind of jab back, right?
Right.
But honestly, I didn't really have a nickname. My great grandmother called me Co, and then the cereal box thing, Coco, Krispies, and my ears. My head got bigger, not in a bad way. I guess I just grew into my ears, but they used to protrude a lot, like satellite dishes out there. But I guess I grew into. But when I was younger, you got those little cute ears protruding out. So it's Coco Crispy, like the little cereal thing. And then later on in AA, I guess the story is that they gave me that questionnaire, and I filled it out, and the guys thought it was funny. I can elaborate on that story, but that's how it ended up coming about in my life and going through professional sports with that nickname. It kind of started from when I was a kid, went away, thank goodness, and then in AA kind of came back, and it just stuck. So, and now I am that joke, that joke which is great though, because it's so catchy. It's so catchy. It's so much easier to say than Covelli, even though I love my name. But Coco is just straight to the point, quick.
Yeah, well, I always called you Covelli. I thought it was a great name, but when when you think about it, you having parents, your dad is Puerto Rican and Italian. I mean, you come from a good mixture of situation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And listen, it's been a wonderful time talking with you. We're just about out of time, and we want to thank you for taking out of your busy schedule for spending some time with us. We look forward to doing this again in the future.
Okay? Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Coach Cador. You did so much for me. Appreciate being on the show, and anytime you guys want to have me back, I'd love to chat a little bit.
Sounds good, Coco. Tell Mom and Dad I said hello, okay?
All right, I'll do that.
All right,
take care, Coco. I guess from a coach's standpoint, you almost had to call him Covelli because it's kind of hard to take you seriously if he does something wrong. You're like, Coco! Coco! What are you doing, Coco? You're out of position. It's kind of hard to take it serious when you're calling the guy a character on a cereal box as opposed to what his name actually is.
Well, and I call some people who were not their name, but in his case,
and we're not talking about those kind of names.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Oh, but
it's a family show, Coach.
I know it is a family show, and I see Marty standing here laughing. So, but no, it's I tell you, we knew he was going to be a good player, and moving him to the outfield didn't hurt him playing in the big league. But had he stayed in the infield, he would have been even greater.
Oh yeah,
because he was really a really good player.
When we come back, we will shift gears and talk a little bit about the last football game of the season. Fortunately, it won't be the last this year because we've got another football season right around the corner, but I digress. We'll get our final break of today's show out of the way. We'll come back and talk more on The Roger Cador Show. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Looking to get some keys made, locks rekeyed, or a wide variety of new and used safe? Then look no further than the trusted choice of Alfred Safe and Lock. Conveniently located off of Government Street in Mid-City, Baton Rouge. Trust the expert locksmith at Alfred for all of your residential, commercial, and industrial lock and safe needs. Trusted by Baton Rouge and me, Roger Cador, to protect what is yours since 1946.
Break out of the chaos.
Hey, Coach Roger Cador here. There's something about teamwork that brings the best out in any business. When I need a tow, I call Roadrunner Towing. Roadrunner's 4 generations strong and homegrown right here in Baton Rouge.
Thanks, Coach. There's no job too large or too small. Call Roadrunner for quick, reliable, exceptional service. We don't want an arm and a leg. We just want your toes. And remember, take time each day to be a blessing to someone. Thank you.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to this week's edition, actually, of the Roger Cador Show. Can you believe it? We're up to week 10 already.
Man, it's just flying. It's
Yeah.
like the world is on steroid or speed, something.
Yeah. And it's really going to be weird having gone through the NFL season, now completing it with the Super Bowl, and in just a matter of weeks, we're going to be talking about starting another college football season. SWAC and all the other conferences that delayed fall football until the spring, that's really going to feel weird. I mean, there's no other way to say it.
No, it's going to feel weird because anytime you're doing something that has never been done before.
Good point.
It's a little weird, or a different feeling. Let's not use weird. It would be a little different feeling.
No, it's going to be weird, Coach. I'm sorry. It's going to be weird. What do you think it's going to be like for the athletes, though? I mean, they will have sat out the fall. They're going to come back in the spring, and then they're going to play in the fall again. What do you think that's going to be like for them?
Well, I'm not going to worry about the fall. You'll cross that bridge when you get there.
When you get there? Okay.
Because you got to go through right now. We still are in the pandemic situation.
Right.
So we don't know really what's going to take place until you get in it. The beautiful thing is that we know more and more people are getting access to the vaccine.
Yeah.
That is for sake of our country, that is really good. And so we'll just wait and see what happens, how this thing unfolds.
Right. Well, we do have highlights from Super Bowl 55, so we'll ask the guys out in the truck if they will be so kind as to roll the highlights as we continue our conversation. Once again, we witnessed, Coach, just how tough it is to repeat as Super Bowl champ. That's something you preach all the time.
It's tough, man. It's very, very difficult in anything to repeat because it's just that teams are so much more motivated. Now, I need to say that Kansas City offensive line was not at 100%.
Right.
I know one of them, the starting tackle, was out, so we don't know if they move people around. But Tom Brady and his that defense, they just played outstanding. They kept pressure on Mahomes all game long. The ones that I saw, because I fell asleep. When I woke up, the game was 7-3, I think.
Right.
I mean, so that's what happened. A long day, but and then it just got worse and worse.
Yep. The display of former LSU Tiger talent was really something to watch, wasn't it?
It is, and that's, both teams had, I think it was 2 or 3 with Kansas City, and they had 2 with Tampa. The 2 with Tampa play a very hell of a role. I mean, when you look at the linebacker and then Fournette really came along. See, a player like Fournette, you put him in a situation like they had in Tampa.
Right.
His talent really come up and see.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, unlike it was in Jacksonville where he was pretty much it.
And they just give him the ball and everybody can key.
Yeah.
Now they, with Tom Brady, had things spread out, and then you could utilize this guy.
Yeah.
The other thing about Fournette is that he wasn't a beat-up running back.
Right.
He got hurt last year or the year before, so he wasn't beat up. So that was good. And like I said, you always want to see someone from the state of Louisiana do well in the game that's big like that,
Well, I tend to agree with you there, but when they're playing for Tampa Bay, I don't know if I can pull for them all that much. I'm a Saints fan when it comes to NFC South. And to pull for Tampa Bay, that's like swallowing castor oil and then trying to smile after. That's like trying to smile after a big old spoon of castor oil.
Oh my goodness!
So is it official now? Tom Brady, greatest of all time?
Well, he was probably in terms of winning, and everything is predicated on winning.
Oh yeah,
he was that before the game.
Yeah,
and it just cemented because Bradshaw, I think, was the next one who won 4.
4, right.
This is his 7th.
Yeah.
You know how long it's going to take someone to do that? You got to be in the right situation.
Yep.
And he was there with New England. And this team, Tampa, was tailor-made for him.
Yep.
Once they got their offense rolling. See, they had a really good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then that offense came together at the right time. They started playing good toward the end of the year, which is when you want to play good.
You talk about almost a logistical magic act. It says something that the NFL, in the midst of a pandemic, was able to complete 269 games without any cancellations due to COVID-19. That's a miracle in and of itself.
They did a good job without being in the bubble.
Right.
But the thing is, I got to give the players credit. They were the one who had to show the discipline.
Good point.
They had to show discipline because there was no restriction placed on them.
Yeah.
Other than they tell them, you can't go to parties, you can't be in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And they followed the protocol, and it allowed them to get this done.
Yeah.
Now, the key is, as Dusty was saying, in baseball, when you start putting 100-some people together and you got a bunch of young people, the key is, can we get them to stay the course and do the things? Yeah, do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about a bunch of young people. Good luck with that.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. It was kind of obvious. Obviously, the Chiefs were the defending champs, and yet at times they looked as though the stage was too big for them. How does that happen, Coach?
Well, there was something going on, Clarence. The coach's son got in that accident.
Yeah.
Anytime a member of your staff, something like that happens, it has an adverse effect sometimes.
Good point.
You know, and Mahomes wasn't 100%.
No, you can see it.
He wasn't. His ankle, his foot, and the concussion. And he didn't have his whole offensive line. I think that's the key that they need to have work for them in order to make the machine really roll.
Yeah.
And but I really think that the coach's son, Reed's son, getting in the accident played really a big part in the momentum.
Of course, now the self-inflicted wounds, the penalties, turnovers, most of them coming at the worst possible time, that didn't help the Chiefs' cause any either.
No, anytime you make a mistake, you turnovers, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to lose. You start making turnovers, especially in a game like that against an experienced quarterback like Brady, who is known to take advantage of your mistake, you know.
Yeah, very few folks out there can make you pay for a mistake like Tom Brady can.
Plus, they had a basic game plan. It wasn't throwing deep, beat you here, that here, run there. Oh, just beautiful game plan.
Yeah, but as is the case in most instances, pretty basic game plan, but the execution was top notch. It's like Eddie Robb used to say when reporters would ask him, how are y'all so successful running the wing T? And he'd gladly tell them, we don't run but 4 or 5 plays, and everybody knows what they are. But we line up with them, and we dare you to stop us. And to this point, nobody's been able to stop us.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the key. You keep something basic, people are able to execute it.
Yeah. Well, that is going to put a wrap on another week of the Roger Cador Show. Very special thank you to Dusty Baker and to Coco Crisp. I wonder when the last time anybody in our areas had an interview with both of them on in the same show. Probably been a while, if ever. He's the coach. I'm Clarence. We'll see you next week with another edition of the Roger Cador Show. Go Jags.